There is always a spiritual dimension to any mental disorder, and the narcissistic personality disorder is no different. Listen, today we are looking at narcissism from a spiritual perspective. To understand that narcissism is a fact of sign that a person is under the influence and obligation of the dark, negative, demonic energy, or if that person is not directly, it can be influenced by the surrounding that they are under the influence of karmic, demonic, possessed, jealous, envy, hate. You know, like they say, like they can ruin you if you give your mind and your ears to such a. They can ruin you. They can make you part of that. So this video can be a part of a larger conversation of looking at various mental disorder from a spiritual perspective. So keep up with the future conversations, as we say, and we think about depression, anxiety, and even schizophrenia from a spiritual perspective. Before I get too deep to this conversation, I understand it can be controversial to say that psychological disorders are signs of negative spiritual energies that influences. But this is only because we live in a society that regularly ignores the spiritual aspect of our existence. The spiritual is the root basic of everything, the psyche, the emotion, the body. And any imbalance or disharmony or disorder that we have in any of these areas is going to have a spiritual element, and that's what we're talking about. So now, without further ado, let's hop in that spiritual tea and narcissism. This information came directly from the higher order of guides. This is something that I would have not personally known myself without channeling. Narcissism occurs when a person's soul is at 0 point, meaning that it's existing in a negative state. 0 and negative refers to the fact that it have no positive electrical charge, the way that a healthy soul would and should. So rather the energy of the soul charging outward, it actually do something else, which in a little bit we'll talk in it. But one of those souls is a positive charge. It's going to emit and attract certain frequencies of a higher life-giving nature. However, when the soul is at 0 point, that means it's not the potential or the ability to emit positive frequencies, but instead can only subsume or eat energies, meaning that the soul at the negative or 0 point have become a void. It become a black hole. Rather, energy, positive energy, emanating out, energy gonna be sucked into it. So that's when the karmics surround each other. This means two things. As an energy vortex with a negative charge, narcissists become a crime vibrational match for other entities of lower, darker nature, meaning that they will naturally attract entity of a soul-sucking nature, and they will walk with and act on the ways of these entities that we carry and possess, especially at the soul level. It's going to determine our psychic and personality traits. So if we are occupied, our soul is occupied by negative, by certain entities, we're going to act in ways that reflect this negative occupation. So secondly, this thing of being an energy vortex means that as a result of the first point, where a person's soul had become a siphoning source, where energy harvesting source, anything that anyone remains in contact with that person's energy field for too long is at risk of being spiritually subsumed by that person and by the entities that influences and walk with them. So this is why people who stay around narcissists for extended period of time feel drained. The energy level are reduced the best parts of them are diminished. Their sense of confident divinity life force will or take a hit because their energy is essentially being siphoned into a negative energy portal powered by energy harvesting entities. So, from a spiritual perspective, a narcissist is someone that severely under the influence of negative and malevolent entities, so much to the point where that person gonna become an agent of these entities, and therefore will act in a ways that serve and honor those entities. So, just to put it in a plainly, narcissists are deeply in covenants with demonic forces. So, they act on behalf of these forces, consciously or unconsciously. People often say that narcissists know exactly what they are doing or what they abuse, when they lie, when they betray people or someone. Agree to an extent to this is true, but they may consciously choose to do these things, and may they even get a kick out of doing harmful things to others. But many of them are not fully aware of how much they are puppets to these malevolent forces. They think that they are harming others. It's a powerful choice and making on their own militions, when in reality it's one of the most powerless people due to their inability of doing healing work and enlighten themselves enough to breathe, to break the free of this control of malevolent entities back to the positive frequency and charge. So they may get a kick about the feeling that they have a lot of power over others, but they don't have power and willpower in the ways that matter most, which is when it comes to our own sovereignty and soul power and abolishing. And another point about having a soul that is at 0 point with have negative charge, it means that the person possesses very little personal willpower. They follow every little whim, every temptation. They follow the crowd. They follow negative temptation that come to their mind. They don't have the strength or power to say no to being negatively influenced. So they don't have the spiritual willpower to preserve this entity out of their soul and their spirit. And this is why, in my opinion, they are usually hell-bent in controlling other people, because they do not have control over themselves. So in order to fulfill the need to control, which is many of us have to have this, we master controlling ourselves. But in order to narcissists to feel that they have control mastery, they try to exert that into other people. They need to feel that they have power. But since they do not have power over their own life and over their own mind and all negative behavior patterns, they seek to make other people feel powerless by trying to control how other people feel about themselves. And this is why there's such a common connection between narcissism and witches and warlocks who practice painful magic like destiny swapping, energy harvesting, because their aura and spirits are occupied and influenced by such a dark entities and energies. So they are agents, they are puppets. And this is why they are so in depth and in demons. The demons already around them. It's so easy for them to summon them and send them out. The demon is not too far away to begin with. So let's continue deeper into the spiritual composition of the narcissist. Due to the fact that there is so many negative entities rooted in the aura of narcissism, they have a little authentic self-concept. They don't have an idea who they are in terms of their deeper nature, higher self, or on tune to this, or able to sense it. They don't actually know how they have the power to achieve and manifest their higher soul nature, heal on earth, which is the most advanced, divine, empowered things that we can do as human beings, to summon our higher energy, to walk with it and on earth by leading and living in a spiritually and mindly life. And since narcissists have wounded, broken self-concept, blocking self-concept, and that's why they go to glamour magic or it doesn't have to go literal spell work. It goes to any intentional effort to cast illusion to control other people's perception of them. That's his glamour magic. When narcissists intentionally do things for you to see them as powerful, for you to see them as someone to fear, or even someone who is superior to you, that's it's a glamour, because none of those is true. It's illusion. They are not powerful and they're not necessarily something to fear. And they are not in any way, shape, or form. So narcissist ability to perform glamour magic and wear mask after mask after mask is due to the fact that various trickster and shapeshifter entities will take roots in their aura and their influence their behavior. Those entities love certain energies, and people who have their soul in a negative 0 point, they're going to attract these types of chaotic entities. So their ability to shapeshift is also why you can met a narcissist and did not realize or immediately detected that they have narcissistic tendencies, but the mask always come forward. That's why we pray for discernment on daily basis, especially when we come to people who are giving our time, our money, our energy, our trust, or our body.